Joining us now, without further ado, my good friend, Bishop Aubrey Shines. He's the chairman of Conservative Clergy of Color. Bishop Shines writes the other day that the defund police efforts of Black Lives Matter is starting to have long-term economic consequences, such as the co-owner of a trucking company pulling his drivers from any cities that have cut police funding. He says if businesses disappear as a result of weaker police, then minority communities will suffer as a result. And he's with us now. Bishop Shines, great to have you with us, sir.
Great being with you. Thanks for having me this morning.
Oh, Aubrey, it's always good to have you, man. Hey, right now, Trump is surging. There's a lot to get to here to unpack for us. Let's first start with this whole being taken in the black community. And be straight up with us like you always are, Aubrey.
It's underrated. I know that may shock you, or others at least. Those type of what we call input numbers has been something that have never declined. I know the media tells you, oh, no, this is, Trump is catching up. But let's remember something. Just a few years ago, there was not but one pollster in the United States of America that even had the rates close. Every pollster that was out there had then candidate Trump losing somewhere between 8+ points and upwards. It depends on who you would listen to on any particular day. Mm-hmm. John, it's resonating because people are seeing facts. Forget about the fake media and everything that you hear. People are living an experience. And again, this is not black or white. This is Americanism that I'm speaking of. When you have black businesses, brown businesses, white businesses that are not being protected because you have mayors and governors that are not doing their due diligence by providing proper security for their citizens, people are outraged. Here's the problem. Where are they going to go? Who are they going to talk to? Do you really think that the mainstream media is going to allow these particular type of voices that have lost their business to come on? Because to do so would indict a political party. People are fed up, and people are now responding. And again, if the pollsters are telling you, oh boy, it's getting close, don't believe it. It's way beyond what we're hearing. And I think that America is speaking as it relates to law, order, economics, and I don't think we're monolithic. I believe we're much broader than a or two or three issues here. I think we're seeing people make up in their minds, we must keep America, America, and not turn it into some socialist despot that people like LeBron James, Black Lives Matter movement, Antifa, these are groups and individuals that are not just not informed, but these are men and women that hate this country. And white and blacks together, John, are saying enough is enough. We're going to take our country back. John, that's what you're really seeing here.
Look, I think you're spot on here. We're with Bishop Aubrey Shines. He's chairman of the Conservative Clergy of Color. And you're seeing this surge by Trump here in the polls, and a lot of it tying to mobs and the looting and the rioting and the fact that the Democrats really can't condemn them. Finally, they said, well, it's a bad thing. Finally, after 3 months of our cities getting burned down, graffiti all over the place. But let me ask you this. Last night, the NBA canceled 3 playoff games. In protest over what has happened in Wisconsin, started by the Milwaukee Bucks wouldn't take the floor with the Orlando Magic, walked off, and then the NBA panicked and canceled them all. So there were no playoff games last night. These were all Game 5s. Personally, I watch baseball and basketball. I've never been one of the, I'm not going to watch it because, somebody says something or there's an emblem on the court. I do it to escape the politics of the day, and I do it for entertainment. And my team is the Rockets. I watch most of their games. But I tell you, Bishop, I'm kind of done with it. Like, I was looking forward to the Rockets game last night against the Thunder tied 2-2, and like there's no game, and it's not because there's a hurricane. It's because they're making a political statement in an incident where the facts haven't come out. I mean, how do you think this plays?
Well, I think anytime and wherever you see in America, I mean, let's just do a brief history moment here. Every time leftists, liberals, put their hands on something, it seems to crumble, whether it's education, whether it's sports, entertainment. And let's remember, before the shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, the NBA ratings were already down 40%. And John, I'll push back here just a little bit. I refuse to watch any game that has an emblem of a Marxist ideology that's on its floor, its uniforms. I don't care where it is, a banner. Why in the world? My paternal granddad died fighting in the World War II to protect and fight against this thing called Marxism that, by the way, anti-God, anti-humanity in this regard. They don't even regard certain ethnic groups as, quote, equal to other ethnic groups. And so, John, if there's going to be a symbol that is going to be plastered, I don't care where it's plastered, I will tune that thing off, because what you're doing is you're indoctrinating the little minds of even children to say, oh, Black Lives Matter. Well, do they know what it really means? Why is it, John, Black lives don't matter when 700 to 900 black babies are aborted every day? Why doesn't it matter when black and brown businesses are looted by these morons, these thugs that are burning down our nation? Why doesn't Black lives matter when several thousand blacks kill other blacks? Why is a black life valuable only when a white officer kills a black life? And by the way, how about something called due process? How about allowing these things to live out in the court? And when it does, if officers are incorrect, guess what happens? They go to jail. But to say that our police, men and women, and I like to call them peace officers, these are not bad people. We cannot help, John, that there may be some anomaly where there's a bad apple in a bunch. But my God, if we're going to throw away an entire system that defends all of us, and God knows who needs protection more than the citizens of a place like Chicago or New Orleans or St. Louis, where blacks are just pillaging other blacks. They need police protection. And so when I see a NBA game, NFL game, they dare not to stand for my flag. They dare to put this Marxist regime on a floor or a banner or allow it to be attached to one of their uniforms, but they won't allow those same type of players to attach something about pro-life or traditional marriage. I'm done. And I'm a huge sports guy. Love the Cubbies out of Chicago. Love the White Sox out of Chicago. But I'm finished as long as Marxism is part of that equation. And John, they're funding them by the millions and millions of dollars. So what are they in essence doing? They're funding the demise of our nation. No, we must tune this crap off, because we are Americans. We're not just black or white, man. We're Americans. Mm-hmm. And if we don't fight for that, John, we're going to lose our nation.
We're with Bishop Aubrey Shines, chairman of the Conservative Clergy of Color. He has a large church in Tampa. Bishop Shines, I really appreciate your candor here. And I think you're right. I mean, I've really resisted the not watching, back to the NFL kneeling. I mean, I just want to watch. I'm a Titans fan. I just want to watch my team play. I was disappointed the Rockets didn't play last night, but it's going to be tough for me to tune in the next Game 5 because, why are they making political statements? And, even in the Kenosha situation, I mean, the facts aren't even in. I mean, this is the thing that I'm scratching my head. I mean, we don't know exactly what happened. We've only had bits and pieces of this released. Certainly being shot 7 times in the back is you have to do the investigation as Attorney General Barr is doing. I mean, he's doing it the right way. There has to be a full investigation of exactly what happened, but we don't have the facts. And, I just think we should wait to see exactly what went down there before we're riding and canceling basketball games. All right, let's get to another topic. Bishop Aubrey Shines with us, Chairman, Conservative Clergy of Color here on the John Fredericks Show. So, when you have chaos in the streets and you're defunding the police and they're not equipped to handle a situation and your stores are getting looted and burned down, your city's getting burned down, what happens? Well, last 2 nights ago, people came there with guns, and a 17-year-old coming there with a gun, a long gun, to so-called protect the city, ends up shooting 2 of the protesters dead, wounding 1, and now the 17-year-old apprehended. He's facing death penalty charges in Wisconsin. He's facing, 25 to life in prison. 17 years old. We can't have vigilantism, but this whole thing is now breeding chaos. How do you respond to that?
It's simple. And again, if we're going to be intellectually honest in this country, we have to look at some facts. One of the facts that we must look at, why is this only happening in certain states governed by certain political parties, usually managed by mayors of a particular political party? Why? Why is that going on? It's simple. It really, really is simple. See, everyone has a bent here, and this bent is we don't want what is established. So what are they really saying? They're turning away from the Judeo-Christian ethos that formed this nation in the first place. And when you take out something that's great and phenomenal, then what is going to replace it? What is going to be the vacuum? It's going to be anarchism. And so when I look at a kid, 17, 18 years of age, and by the way, I started ministry and ministering in the Cook County system there in Chicago, Illinois. And when you look at the eyes of these kids who now their entire lives are wasted, may face a death penalty and or spend at least 25 years in prison. There's a kid that could have been a dad. There's a kid that could have had a family that produced, who knows, an inventor to create something fantastic, or a phenomenal researcher that maybe have given us a cure for a disease or something. But you waste your life away because you have failed systems in the United States of America, where these individuals are governing Democrats, Democratic governors, Democratic council people, Democrat states attorneys, and they are allowing this type of vigilantism to run rampant in its streets. John, what do we expect is going to happen? It always happens. Look at Marxism, and you'll see the exact reflection now being imaged in the streets of our nation. And those of us who understand this and don't get involved and don't support those of us that are trying to make a difference, then you're part of the problem. Because all it takes for a nation to fail is for good men to look at it and do nothing about it. John, we got to fight. We got to take back our city, and the way we do it, we got to vote. We got to vote a Judeo-Christian ethos back in. I'm not talking about some theocracy here. We've never had that in the United States of America, nor am I implying that we do. But I'm saying we should find men and women of character, men and women that believe in a God that gave us these rights that we see embodied within our Constitution. And when we do, John, we'll get our nation back, and we won't have our kids going with rifles into the street. We're not even talking about the men that have been beat up, 70, 80-year-old men defending their stores because the police officers are being told by these mayors and governors to stand down. John, this is chaotic, and it's brought to you by one political party, the Democratic Party. We got to vote these anti-American Marxist men and women out of office. And I say that not as the chairman of Conservative Clergy of Color. I say that as an individual. And that is, we can do better in America if we unite, black and white and brown alike. Stop being afraid. Let's take our country back.
Well, I think the Democrats kicking God out of their convention was shocking to me, and having two people say the Pledge of Allegiance to just eliminate God out of it. I just like, I'm a Catholic. I just shook my head on that one. But let me get a text here because you're getting pushback. This is from Taurus in Richmond. He said, "Here we go. Another black guest denouncing Black Lives Matter. Old shiny shining. These riots are not all on Black Lives Matter. Remember, Black Lives Matter was started by a football player kneeling peacefully. GOP went ape crap over it, disrespecting the flag. How many more blacks have died in police custody? I live in America, but America didn't always love me us." This is from Taurus in Richmond. How do you respond to that?
Oh, it's very easy, Taurus. You need to get your facts together. I'm not sure by that name if what your gender is, male or female, but let me help you. It was not started by Colin Kaepernick. It was started by two lesbians who are Marxists who said, and by the way, we have the material out on our site at conservativeclergy.org if you're just interested in facts. They said we are trained Marxists, and by the way, Taurus, they actually says that they chant and they get their powers from the underworld, from demonic forces. Not my opinion, Taurus. This is their opinion. So when you start talking about police lives and how they're killing, Taurus, you need to do a little fact-checking, my friend. And what you'll find out is actually there are more whites that are killed by police officers than they are blacks. And Taurus, if you're really concerned about Black Lives Matter, what about the 20 million black lives that have been lost in the womb because of a racist organization called Planned Parenthood, by the way, which was sponsored by the Democratic Party? The number one killer of blacks in this country is the abortion table, and the Planned Parenthoods are throughout black and brown communities. So please don't call and lecture me. I welcome your pushing back, and I would support and defend you, sir, ma'am, to the highest to have your voice heard in every area. But please have some facts when you address individuals that happen to have those facts. You're being misled by the mainstream media, and you obviously have no clue as to what's really going on. And if you really care, my friend, about black lives, then please address the fact when you have 95% of all murders of black men, by the way, not by police, they're by other black men. I just have a question. Do those lives matter?
Bishop Aubrey Shines, I think you've answered Taurus's inquiry. Good debate. One more text I'm going to read. We got to take a couple more. We got to take off. Julie in New Kent, Virginia, says, Dr. Shines, Mike Pence said last night, "I'm not just pro-life, I'm pro-eternal life." Best quote of either convention. Julie in New Kent. And finally, Randy said, "Wow, your last two sentences were very powerful." Thank you, Bishop Aubrey Shines. Always good to have you, sir.
You guys.
Thank you so much.